Hello and welcome to our Boxset review for week 1, where we will be reviewing all of our learning from this week. So we are going to do one of these Boxset reviews every single week on a Friday, and that is so that we can rewind all of our learning this week by reading on our Knowledge Navigator, and you might even want to do a little bit of research about something as a little bit of an extra challenge as well, if there's something that you still don't really understand from one of the lessons this week. So it's really important that we keep rewinding all of our learning so that we can recall all of these key bits of information and facts. It's really important that we don't forget things, and we need to keep remembering this knowledge. And the only way we can remember things if we keep interrupting that forgetting, we keep stopping ourselves from forgetting because we keep kind of quizzing ourselves on it. So for this lesson, you are going to need the Knowledge Navigator for this half term. It is on the PDF on the timetable. I will put it on the screen in a moment, but obviously it won't be the best quality. And we're going to use this. I'm going to give you a few minutes revision time to quickly scan through the Knowledge Navigator. There are some bits that obviously we haven't covered yet because we're only on week 1, but have a look at the Knowledge Navigator. Look at the bits that you can see and think about, is there any key information there that you've already learned? And if so, hopefully you might be able to embellish a little bit more about it, because the Knowledge Navigator only gives us little snippets of information. And when we're doing our lessons, we then add lots more detail to it. So here is the geography section of our Knowledge Navigator. And this week's lesson was looking at pollution and plastic pollution. So hopefully you see the word pollution, you can read that STEM sentence, but then hopefully you are also thinking about some of the other things that you learnt in that lesson as well. You are thinking of all the different words and ideas that come to mind when you are thinking about pollution. Here is the RE and the art side of the Knowledge Navigator. Now, we haven't started this section of the RE yet, because we've got a couple of lessons that we've got to carry on from last time. But the art, we will have started, and we will have been learning about Banksy, and you will have been learning a little bit about the work that Banksy has done. So there's a few examples there, and there's some pictures as well. So pause the video, take a minute or two to look over the Knowledge Navigator, recall all of the information that you can. We're also going to give you some quizzes on scarf and a little bit of maths as well. So see if you can recall what you've been learning about in all of these wonder lessons this week. Okay, revision time over, quiz time. Okay then, first 2 questions. So scarf is our first wonder subject, which you did with Miss Walker. Number 1. And you can just write these in your purple books if you write Boxset Review Week 1 at the top and write down scarf. Number 1, what is a benefit of saving money? Number 2, can you name 3 reasons why something might be more expensive? So why might something be more expensive than something else? Can you name 3 reasons, 3 things that make something more expensive? RE then, number 3, who do Sikhs believe created the universe? Number 4, what is the key, so the main difference between the Sikh and Christianity creation story? Next section then is all about maths. So this week we have been looking at measure. So number 5, how many millimetres are there in a centimetre? 6, 7.3 kilograms is the same as how many grams? And number 7, 4,500 millilitres is the same as how many litres? Next section is art, which you did with Miss Hersey. So question 8, which artist created these pieces of artwork? Number 9, true or false, Banksy's real name is Simon Jones. And number 10, graffiti is a terrible mess on the side of buildings. Do you agree? Explain your answer. So this is a bit of a longer question where you need to say yes or no, and you need to tell me why. You need to tell me your thinking behind it. And the last section then is geography. So number 11, what is pollution? Can you remember the definition? And number 12, what is one piece of advice you could give a friend or family member about their plastic use? Lovely, so let's go through some answers. Right, answer time then. So give them a tick as you go through, and if you've made a mistake, you can just correct it next to it. Some of these have got more than one answer, so if you think that yours is right and I've just not said it, then that is okay as well, because some of them have got lots of very open-ended questions and you might have written something slightly different. Okay, I'm going to be looking over here because I'm looking at my screen so I can tell you the answers. So number 1, for scarf, what was a benefit of saving money? Well, again, there's several things you could have written down for this, but I suppose the main one, a benefit of saving money means that you can then save up to buy something bigger. So if you don't save your money, you just keep spending it, you'll be able to buy little bits every week. But if you save it up, you can then, in a month or so's time, you can then buy something a lot bigger. It also is good to save your money because otherwise, if you then really need it for something, I know you're probably not dealing with things like this, but when you're a bit older, let's say your car breaks down and you've just been spending all the money that you've been earning, and then your car breaks down, you need your car to get mended, you don't have that kind of bank of money of which you can then use to mend your car. Okay, so it's always nice to have some money saved, put to one side for something that you might need, and it's also nice to save some money so that if you want to go on holiday or buy something a bit bigger, you can do. Number 2, can you name 3 reasons why something might be more expensive? Okay, so I've got Miss Walker's video up, and she said it's how difficult, how complex it is to produce it, how many people are involved in producing it, how much machinery and equipment is involved, the material that it's made of. If something that's made of diamond, that's going to be a lot more expensive than something that's made of plastic. How popular it is. So if something is really, really popular and lots of people want it, it might push the price down because so many people are buying it, or it might be more expensive because loads of people want it, so it becomes quite rare. So how rare it is another example. How old it is. So if something is really, really old, like an antique, it makes it more expensive. But if something has been used quite a lot, it's not in very good condition, and it's been damaged, then that would obviously make it less expensive. So you needed 3 reasons there. I will give you a mark for each one of those. Right then, RE questions. So number 3, who do Sikhs believe created the universe? Well, I've been looking at pronunciation and I think I'm correct in pronouncing it as Vaguru. So I apologise if that's a little bit wrong, but it is capital W, A-H-E, and then Guru at the end. Number 4, what is the key difference between the Sikhism and Christianity creation story? Well, you drew the double bubble diagram, graphic organiser with Miss Walker. So one of the key differences is that in the Sikh creation story, there's no specific order, there's no specific timings, there's no specific days when everything was created, whereas in the Christianity and other creation stories, there are specific days and times of how things and when things were created. Well done if you got those right. Okay then, the maths section. So how many millimetres are there in 1 centimetre? Well, you could have used your ruler if you needed to. There are 10 millimetres in a centimetre. Number 6, 7.3 kilograms. Well, kilo means 1,000, so there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So 7.3 kilograms times it by 1,000 would be 7,300 grams. Number 7, 4,500 millilitres is how many litres? Well, milli means 1,000th. There are 1,000 millilitres in a litre. So 4,500 divided by 1,000 would be 4.5 of a litre, 4.5 litres. Well done if you got the mark. I would give you the mark if you put 4.500, but obviously we know that 0 is after the decimal point. Don't change the number, so you don't need them. Okay, art then. Which art created those pictures? Well, this is probably the easiest one on the thing, so hopefully you got this one right. It was Banksy. True or false? Banksy's real name is Simon Jones. Is that true or is that false? Well, it might be true, but I'm going to go with false because we don't know. We don't know who Banksy is. They are an anonymous artist, which means we don't know who they are. There's rumours about who they might be, but we don't actually know for certain at all. So probably not Simon Jones. Number 10, graffiti is a terrible mess on the side of buildings. Do you agree or disagree? Now, I will give you a mark for yes or no, but you have to have backed up your answer. So if you said something like, yes, I agree because, we need that because in there, because it makes buildings look messy, it makes them look maybe dirty, you might say. It makes them look unkept, uncared for. It makes them look a bit scruffy and a bit of an unloved building. If you said something about how it changes the way that the building looks, it doesn't look as smart anymore, I would give you a mark for that. However, if you also said no, because I think graffiti is a creative art type, and if that was in a photo frame, people would say it was art, so why isn't it art on the side of a building? Okay, so you could have had a slightly different answer as well, but if you got yes or no, as long as you backed your argument up with a solid reason as to why you think that, that's okay. Last two then, geography. So what is pollution? What is pollution? Well, I'm reading straight off the Knowledge Navigator for this. Pollution is when harmful materials are introduced which damage the environment. So that is our definition for pollution. So as long as you put anything about they are materials that damage the environment, I'd give you the mark. Last one then, what is one piece of advice you would give a friend or family member about their plastic use? Okay then, so obviously we want to cut down on plastic use and we want to make sure that we're not polluting the world any more than we already have. So there's loads of advice you can give people, but specifically about plastic use. So it might be, don't buy it if you don't need it. Okay, if the alternative is there to buy, let's say fruit, for example, without a plastic wrapper, then buy it without the plastic wrapper rather than buying it with the plastic wrapper. Recycling is a big one. If you know someone that doesn't recycle, make sure that they are recycling their plastic. It might be something like, don't go and buy a bottle of fizzy pop from the shop. Instead, buy a can. Okay, anything like that is really sensible advice. Big piece of advice is obviously, if you have used plastic, that's okay, as long as we recycle or we reuse it. So we don't just throw plastic into a normal bin, we obviously don't litter and just leave it lying around the environment, okay? So any of those pieces of advice I would give you a mark for. If you have any others that are sensible pieces of advice about how we use plastic and recycle it, I would give you a mark as well. Right, well done. Let us know your scores. Hopefully you did really well there and you remembered lots and lots of key information. So we'll do one of these every single week and we will keep recapping this so that we don't forget any of our learning. Right, have a lovely afternoon. Bye.